Everything's on fire! The market's plummeting! It's the end of the world! What do we do? What's gonna happen to our 401ks? Can I retire? Patriots, it's good to see y'all in the chat. Damn it, it's good to see ya. Well, the left are losing their minds. Everybody's shitting in the pay of the blah, blah, left and right. People don't know what to do. They're in a frenzy. Everybody calm the fuck down. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna break down because, well, the market didn't like Donald Trump's tariffs. People are saying it triggered a market crash. Massive layoffs are gonna take place. And then Donald Trump comes out and predicts a big boom? What's going on, Brad? Can you explain it for us? Well, you're damn right I can, Patriots. Welcome to Dark MAGA. Buckle up. We're going to be here for a while, okay? You thought 2 hours was long. We're going probably 2 hours again tonight, plus some. Because, damn it, that's what we do, baby. If you could support us by hitting that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Remember, this is for all, folks. We are not restricting this to premium only. This is everybody. So let's do this. Let's break it down here, man. We got got so much shit to cover tonight. Holy lordy. By the way, if you're new to Dark MAGA, it's spicier. It's rated R. There's cussing. There's a lot going on here. It's no holds bar, which is usually why we reserve it for Rumble Premium, because YouTube's going to flag this definitely. This will be probably taken down off YouTube. So without further ado, here we go. Trump's tariffs trigger market crash. Layoffs. Predicts boom? Little boom boom? Well, on March 3rd today, Donald Trump announced new tariffs on nearly all U.S. imports, marking a significant protectionist trade action. There's a word for you. Following the announcement, the stock market experienced a sharp decline. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. If you can visually think about it, it was a cliff. Fucking this. It went. I can't even do it with my hand. It's as vertical as you can pretty much get. Not good. Following the announcement, the stock market experienced a sharp decline, with the Dow dropping over 1,500 points. Holy fuck. More than $2 trillion. Just completely wiped out. Oh boy. In response to the tariffs, Stellantis, whatever, I don't know what that is, announced temporary layoffs affecting approximately 900 workers across several U.S. facilities. Despite the immediate market reaction, President Donald Trump expressed optimism saying that the market and the country are poised for a boom due to an expected influx of investment. Now, a lot of this is reactionary, to be fair. People get spooked. They're not exactly sure, what's going to happen, what's going on. And, this is a little bit of Donald Trump's and his team's fault for the communication or their lack of that they're doing with this. Now, when I say their lack of, they are doing communication, but the way that they're communicating is not meeting the expectations of understanding of the American people. They got to do a better job. Well, here's Mr. 45, now 47, still as good, and he's looking good.
I think it's going very well. It was an operation, like when a patient gets operated on, and it's a big thing. I said this would exactly be the way it is. We have $6 or $7 trillion coming into our country, and we've never seen anything like it. The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years. For many years, we've been at the wrong side of the ball, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be unbelievable. The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
Okay, can we stop with the interviews next to the jet engines firing in our ears, Mr. President? Joey did it all the time. I can hear you, sir, but I don't want to hear the jet engine rumbling through my ears the entire time. And, part of this is true. A lot of investments are coming back. They haven't all come back yet. There's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Promises that are being made by investors that they're going to come and build here again. You got to let things cook. This is very reactionary. The market is always that way. Hell, Donald Trump is the one that doesn't even have to do this for the market to react like this. You can have the Federal Reserve come out and say anything they want, and the markets could react. So, the left are going to take hold of this. They're going to start screaming to the skies. Look what Donald Trump did. Look what Donald Trump has done. Oh, MAGA, are you happy now? Yes, I am still happy because I understand how things fucking work, and you don't. Because you're crazies out there. You guys are yelling at Teslas, burning buildings around, looting your own neighborhoods. Let the man cook. If it doesn't work out, I'll be happy to admit that I'm wrong. I won't be happy to admit, that's a little sadistic, but I'll admit that I was wrong. And by the way, I would be taking a hit too if I'm wrong. So I wouldn't be exactly stoked about it, would I? But we have a guy that I don't know if you guys are aware that I actually watched this guy. He's an accountant from Clear Value Tax. If you don't follow this guy, you guys should. And actually, let me link you his channel. You guys really should watch this guy. He's really great. I've been watching him for a couple years now. Really good advice on the markets. And by the way, he just looks like an accountant, right? I mean, this guy looks. This is how I actually used to look, believe it or not. But anyways, here he is talking about the stock market's plummeting after Trump's reciprocal tariff announcement. We're going to watch the whole thing. Like I mentioned, it's Dark MAGA, baby. We watch more long form stuff. Let's go.
Has unveiled his reciprocal tariffs, and the stock market is having a very negative reaction. So here's what happened, and you could see this on the White House's website. So Wednesday, April 2nd, after the stock market closes, President Trump announces the details of his reciprocal tariffs. So it says that President Trump is invoking his authority under the IEEPA to address this national emergency within trade relations. So it proceeds to say that a 10% tariff will be imposed on all countries. And this is going to take effect on April 5th. So President Trump will place additional tariffs on certain countries, which will go into effect April 9th. But President Trump will have the power to remove these tariffs when he feels that the problem is satisfied or resolved. And here it says that if countries retaliate with their own tariffs, then President Trump is allowed to retaliate back with even more tariffs. And here it says that some specific products will receive exemptions. Now, I'm going to show you this video clip of President Trump explaining the situation, and it's going to be a 2-minute clip. It was much longer. You're going to see a chart involved, but we're just going to keep it to 2 minutes. So please take a look.
I'd like to see the chart if you have it. Could you bring it up, Howard? This is our great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. Thanks, Howard. So, if you look at the...
hold on to this, okay? We're going to come back to this after a couple clips. So please keep what you're seeing in your mind and memory. And I'm talking about Trump's image, because we're going to come back to this on, is the media pulling some foozery on Donald Trump's image? So just look what Trump looks like here. We're going to come back to it later.
That China, first row, China, 67.
China. I love how he says China. China.
7%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be, because we never charge anybody anything. But now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%, we're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff. Taiwan, where they took all of our computer chips and semiconductors. We used to be the king, right? We were everything. We had all of it. Now we have almost none of it, except the biggest company is coming in. We're going to end up with almost 40%. Lee Zeldin's working to get their approvals. And it's an amazing company. Mr. Wei, of one of the great companies of the world, actually. They're coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build one of the biggest plants in the world, maybe the biggest for that. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, very, very tough. Great people. And again, I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office, right over there, right behind the Resolute desk or whichever desk they chose. Japan, 46%. They would charge us 46%, and much higher for certain items like cars, little items like cars. 46%, we're charging them 24%. India, very, very tough, very, very tough.
Okay, so you just saw that. President Trump kept going on. He was going down the list, but I think you get the picture. Okay, so why is President Trump doing reciprocal tariffs? It's because, the primary reason is that he wants to create a manufacturing revival in the United States of America.
Thank you.
But of course, there will be consequences to President Trump's reciprocal tariffs, which include, but won't be limited to, higher inflation. So that's undeniable. It's just a question of how bad will inflation get, or how much will it worsen inflation. Best case scenario is that it's short term, or if you want to use the Federal Reserve's favorite word, the inflation will be transitory. Worst. I was literally just about to say that, but I couldn't swallow the Coca-Cola quick enough. It's always transitory. It's transitionatory. Case scenario, it's not so much transitory. And how much economic damage will this cause?
Not sure.
Will this trigger a recession? Will
Possibly.
this trigger stagflation?
Don't know yet.
Or not? And you have to think about the debt crisis. How much...
Depending on the recession, you could actually get the recession and stagnation at the same time.
Is this going to worsen the situation? Like if we go into a recession, just think of those metrics that are used, such as debt to GDP, because if the economy crashes, then debt to GDP is obviously going to skyrocket up. And how much turmoil is this going to cause in the financial markets? And we're not just talking about the stock market, but the bond market as well. And of course, how are other countries going to retaliate? And will this trigger a very large trade war? And with how many countries?
By the way, if we would have just kept manufacturing stuff here ourselves, we would never be in this situation. Just wanted to point that out. If we didn't sell off and freaking go out and outsource all this shit, we wouldn't have to do this in the first place.
It's a question of trade-offs. How much manufacturing will be revived in the United States of America and how quickly, compared to, how much higher will inflation go? How much economic damage will this cause? How much will this worsen the debt crisis? And how much is the stock market going to go down? And how are other countries going to respond? So there's a lot of unknowns. But
True.
Please let me know what you think. Now, in terms of the stock market, I mean, you could see the consequences in real time for yourself. But then there's always the question of how much more downside is this going to cause, directly from the tariffs. Regarding inflation and the labor market, Federal Reserve members are saying, what is widely expected, that these tariffs will reduce jobs and raise inflation. So preliminary estimates are being thrown out there that CPI headline inflation is going to jump by a full percentage point very soon. And that's not good for the stock market, because if inflation spikes up, then that's going to prevent the Federal Reserve from cutting interest rates and loosening up their monetary policy. So the market expectation, according to the CME Fed Watch tool, is that there's a 91.1% chance that the Federal Reserve will not cut interest rates at their next meeting in May.
And I don't think Donald Trump would be that upset over it, because there was a clip that I saw about, I want to say maybe a week ago. And before, when he was president, when he was Mr. 45, he talked a lot about getting those interest rates down. But I think right now he's not expecting those to drop. And I wish I had the clip on me. It was something along the lines of, I would like interest rates to drop, but if they don't, kind of basically whatever. Now I'm paraphrasing, but I don't think he's super interested in dropping those interest rates. If anything, interest rates might go up.
So before President Trump delivered his plan, this was at 81%. And of course, another main objective of these reciprocal tariffs is to, and this would be the best case scenario, is if other countries, they don't want to be subject to these new tariffs, then they would remove their tariffs.
There you go.
And then President Trump would remove these new tariffs. So we end up in a situation where there's actually less tariffs than when we started. But of course, that's going to depend on whether the other countries, whether they're going to choose to go escalate or de-escalate. And, it's going to be a country by country thing. But listen, I'll be the first to admit that I did not expect President Trump to go through with universal tariffs, because that is a very risky move for the reasons that we covered. I mean, you see the consequences in the stock markets, but the economy, the labor market, as well as inflation. I mean, Americans, we are struggling as is before this whole situation, but now expect that spike in prices. How are people going to deal with this? I guess, we'll just have to see. However, this might be short-lived. So honestly, nobody knows how the situation is going to unravel, because we've seen President Trump's policy, green light, red light, on and off, on and off. So we don't know. When it comes to the stock market, my approach, it's still the same. Patience is key.
There you go. That's what we talk about.
These dips, to me, they're buying opportunities.
Yep.
But I would not go all in. I would just dollar cost average in, but not go all in, because there could be more downside risk, as I said in my previous video. But that's all for today. I'll keep you updated. Please subscribe. I thank you for the support and wish you a very nice day.
This guy's really good, by the way. Again, he's a CPA. He gives really good kind of outlooks, very holistic view on the market itself, the debt crisis, Donald Trump. He's very trendy with it. And he's gotten a lot better with his videos. So I highly recommend you check him out just for your daily dose. He does small little videos, and it'll get you really caught up to speed on what's going on with the tariffs, what are the outgrowths, and a lot of graphs that he utilizes that you're not going to see on the mainstream media. So I highly recommend Clear Value Tax. Well, you also have Caroline Leavitt defending Donald Trump's tariffs amidst plummeting stock market. Again, this was the big news of the day. And you obviously know CNN, Forbes, everybody's going to be covered, including us here. And why wouldn't we? We got to cover what's happening out there in the news. And all our 401ks took a hit today. So let's not go and open that investment portfolio up to see how that one's looking. Let's go ahead and just turn our head against that one and say, I'll look at you in a few months. How about that?
Oh, the breaking news this morning, the reaction to the president's tariff announcement. Global stock markets falling and the world's biggest economies vowing retaliation. This in response to President Trump announcing an across-the-board tariff of 10% on all imports coming into the United States starting this weekend. And for some 60 countries, the rate is even higher. Futures have been down sharply this morning. You take a look at it right there ahead of the opening bell coming next hour. The NASDAQ down just shy of 4% at this point. China, hardest hit by the tariffs, responded overnight to the tariffs, saying that it will, quote, safeguard its own rights and interests. The European Union saying that it's preparing countermeasures. The European Commission president saying this: if you take on one of us, you take on all of us. Joining us right now is White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. Caroline, thank you very much for your time this morning. There's been a lot of reaction overnight since the announcement and since we all basically were asleep. What is the White House reaction to, as we just had those numbers up, global markets tumbling this morning and futures down sharply?
To anyone on Wall Street this morning, I would say trust in President Trump. This is a president who is doubling down on his proven economic formula from his first term. We saw wages increase. We saw inflation come down. We had a Trump energy boom. We had the largest tax cuts in history. And that's exactly what the president intends to do following his historic announcement yesterday for reciprocal tariffs. It's the golden age rule for the golden age of America. And the United States of America is no longer going to be cheated by foreign nations around the world. And as the president declared yesterday, this is indeed a national emergency. We have a $1.2 trillion trade deficit and counting. We've had 90,000 factories close in the last couple of decades. Since 1997, Americans have been put out of 5 million manufacturing jobs. These are not just statistics. These are real American lives that have been impacted. And it's about time we have a president who actually does something about it. This is going to restore more wealth, more jobs, more economic prosperity to our great country.
The foreign minister of Norway in Brussels for NATO meetings said this morning that the tariffs could violate an article of the NATO treaty that orders members to promote economic stability and collaboration. If this is a breach of the NATO treaty, will the president reassess his approach?
We'll pull out of NATO. Hey, I can see him doing it.
No, the president is firm in his approach, and the president is ensuring economic stability here in the United States of America. Yesterday, he was joined in the Rose Garden by everyday Americans, middle-class workers. You heard from one of them who the president invited on stage by name because he knows this man and he knows what the impact of globalization has done to communities like Detroit, Michigan, where auto workers have been put out of jobs.
Exactly, Blackbird, you're coming in hot, baby, like a blackbird. He says, or she says, Black, I don't even know if you're a male or female, I'm sorry, but how would it be a breach if they'd be doing it to us? Yes, sir. But see, that's too logical, my friend. The patriots in the chat, we're too logical. That doesn't work for CNN. She kind of looks like Trump right now.
Jobs where we've seen factories shut down. We have offshored critical supply chains in our country. Do we want our critical supplies like life-saving medical medicines and chips being made in China, or do we want them being made right here in the United States of America? Every American knows the answer to that question. This is a common sense policy. And if these countries wanted to negotiate, if these countries wanted to do what's right, they've had 70 years to do it. Instead, they have been ripping off American workers. And President Trump has made it very clear that this is a policy he was going to implement. He campaigned on the idea of fair trade, on tariffs, and nearly 80 million Americans elected him to do it, and he is delivering.
You talked about the impact on everyday Americans. I wanted to ask you about that because the impact on farmers is a big concern I've heard voiced by many Republicans like Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina. I want to play for you what the senator has said and also what a local farmer in North Carolina is saying.
You know, it's weird. The media can never just report on what Donald Trump's doing good in. Even the things that he does good, they have to somehow and try to spin it as if it's bad. Case in point, illegal immigration. God forbid the guy fucking removes murderers out of the country. God forbid the guy gets rid of drugs. I would like to point out fentanyl deaths are down. If I have that correct, I'm pretty sure I have that right. I think the graph is starting to decline because of him stopping this stuff from flowing across the border. But, the left will start complaining about that, too, because they're crazy.
Anyone who says there may be a little bit of pain before we get things right need to talk about farmers who are one crop away from bankruptcy. They don't have time.
In Western North Carolina alone, Helene caused over $2.5 billion of crop losses. These tariffs are pouring salt in a wound that is just now beginning to heal.
To that farmer, the president says what?
The president is standing up for American farmers. In fact, he was joined here at the White House yesterday by many of them. We have seen China, the Chinese Communist Party, buying up, gobbling up American farmland. The president is doing what's right for these farmers, and to our fellow Americans, we encourage them to buy American. And you look at the effectiveness of the...
I want to pause. Excuse me. I want to pause it there. We'll continue here, but I want to bring up the fact of why are we not looking into the land that the Chinese are buying up that's right next to our military installations and just so happens to be next to a lot of nuclear installations? How and why are we allowing it? That's what I want to know. Find it a little bit odd.
Tariffs by the investments that have poured into our country thus far. Even before the president made this announcement yesterday, he has secured trillions of dollars in investments.
Shout out to Blue Collar Jedi. One hell of a name, by the way. I freaking love that. The tariffs just started today. You, CNN, watching with mouth breathers. You.
Right here in the United States of America. And he has the backs of our farmers, our workers, and our and companies as well who are choosing to invest in the United States.
Well, I mean, that woman is a farmer, and that woman says that this feels like salt in a wound that is only beginning to heal.
Wow, stop traffic, man. You found one person. You found one farmer to say something negative, which is typical of CNN. Give me a break. You gotta love it, right? Because you talk to one person. Whoa! Out of thousands.
She does not seem to want these tariffs at all. I mean, the president has acknowledged that Americans could feel some pain with these tariffs, with this announcement. How much pain is the president comfortable with Americans feeling, even on a temporary basis?
Well, again, to that a wonderful American farmer, the president has your back and he wants to protect you and your family-owned farm. That is the point of these tariffs. As far as
are you going to do anything to ease the pain?
Where were any of these questions to Joe Biden for 4 fucking years, and all of a sudden you care? Are you going to do anything to ease the pain? Where were these questions to Karine Jean-Pierre, Jen Psaki, Joe Biden, John Kirby, Anthony Blinken, and the whole gambit? But you have a reactionary market that's taking place right now, and you're asking people to ease the pain. Where was easing the pain on the egg prices when Joey decided to, delete millions of birds? I got to be careful with my language because we're also on YouTube, and they'll ban us if we say any bad words. Although I kind of already screwed the pooch on that one. But none of that there because they're hypocrites. Yeah, they got an agenda to push. Novak fan. Oh God, here we go. I know who this is. Hey, Eraserhead, it's George A. I just read that you, Bongino, and Hegseth are forming a throuple. Want to comment? I don't know what the hell you're talking about, George. Are you drunk? What the hell are you talking about? But I appreciate the $5 nonetheless, sir. Thank you so much. Always good to see you in the chat, George. I told you, folks, Dark Mag is a different night. People come in with code names, different names, incognito names, donating money left and right. I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that. But thank you, nonetheless. Thank you.
Well, absolutely. We're working on that every single day. The American people and the naysayers need to look at the whole of government economic approach that this administration is taking. The president has already launched a massive deregulatory agenda, which we know has saved the American taxpayer millions of dollars. He is also unleashing the might of our American energy industry, which we know is the greatest driver of inflation. It's one of the many reasons we had an inflation crisis in the previous administration. The president is unleashing American energy to bring down the cost of living in this country. We also know, again, in the president's first term, while he effectively implemented tariffs, wages went up. The median wage in America went up by $6,500. And so it is the goal of this president to have higher wages, less inflation, and tax cuts. That's the second step of the Trump economic agenda. More money back into the pockets of hardworking American. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security. We're counting on Congress to get it done, and that's the next step of the Trump economic boom.
On taxes, JP Morgan just came out with an analysis in response to
I like how she doesn't address a single thing that she just said. Caroline, just smacking her upside her damn head, and she didn't address a damn thing she just mentioned. Caroline came out hot, man. She came out hot right there.
Tariff announcement saying that these tariffs will be the largest tax hike on Americans since 1968, a tax hike by $660 billion a year.
Okay, it is true. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm down for the language of it, but it is true that there was a tax that was implemented. And if you look at the tariffs and you run the numbers, it is it's over 600 billion. So there is truth in that statement. Not like in the way it's being stated, but.
Year. What is JP Morgan missing? What are world markets getting wrong? What are, when you see stock futures down, what is everyone missing, including that local farmer in North Carolina?
They're missing the massive revenue that these tariffs are going to bring into the United States. Trillions and trillions of dollars in investment, which leads to more jobs in American communities, higher wages, more money in the pockets of hardworking Americans.
Yeah, but not a lot of things are immediate. And this is how the media manipulates what's going on with the markets. The markets are very reactionary. So if the markets went up, you probably wouldn't be hearing anything. If the markets stay stagnated, you wouldn't be hearing anything. They don't want to talk about those reactionaries in those short terms. It's just remarkable to me again. Well, what's he going to do right now? None of this, again, I know I'm repeating myself, came up with Joey when he was president. Nobody wanted to fucking talk about the 9.1% inflation other than the Republicans and conservatives. MSNBC didn't want to talk about it. CNN didn't want to talk about it. NBC didn't want to talk about it. ABC didn't want to talk about it. Nobody in the front row in the White House press briefing, because we watched every single fucking one of them, didn't want to talk about it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. But all of a sudden, Donald Trump, the market slips a little bit here. Well, how's he going to do it in the short term? Well, maybe markets don't work that way, lady.
Immediate, I mean, in the most immediate, I mean, these farmers, as Tom Tillis says, farmers are one crop away from bankruptcy. That farmer doesn't have time to wait for tariffs to work their way into the system, for the benefit of it to work its way into the system at all. This is going to mean higher prices for Americans. In the most immediate, that's why I asked the question, how much pain on a temporary basis is okay? What's the standard that the president is looking at in terms of how much pain Americans can feel on a temporary basis that he's okay with?
How much pain. See this is what they do. This is how they manipulate it. This is very, very manipulative. Talk about pain and hurtful, right? As if you're actually harming somebody physically because you picked one farmer. By the way, we don't know jack shit about this farmer's finances. We don't know if they dug themselves a hole, if they went out and actually signed on the dotted line, if they took out a massive loan that has a massive amount of interest that they don't know how to handle or do. We know nothing about this farm's business, by the way. And she's just going to come out and make it seem like it's Donald Trump's fault for the reason why this business is collapsing. And maybe it might be so, but what about all the other farmers and how they're handling their business? Are they negotiating with localities? Are they negotiating with their suppliers and their buyers? How are they maneuvering through this field? You knew this was going to happen. This isn't anything that's remarkable in terms of happening. Not to mention farmers are highly subsidized in some areas. So this goes into way many other variables here, but she's only treating as if there's one variable happening to these farmers. And it starts with a T, it ends with a P, and sounds like Trump.
Again, the president is focused every single day on lowering the cost of living in this country while simultaneously implementing these very effective tariffs. Massive deregulation, an energy boom, and tax cuts are the economic formula that will mean more prosperity and the lower cost of living. And it's a proven formula. Look at President Trump's first term and the results. When he left office, inflation was 1.4%. He implemented many tariffs in his first term that did bring in billions of dollars in revenue. In fact, the previous administration knew they were so effective, that's why they left them in place. So again, the president is delivering on his promise to implement reciprocal tariffs while his administration is working hard every day to cut regulation, to reduce fraud, waste, and abuse in our federal government as well. And tax cuts are the next step of this economic agenda, which will lead to more investment, more money in our economy, more economic growth.
One quick question, because I've heard it suggested. Is there any chance that the president will pull back on implementing these tariffs before they go into effect this weekend?
The president made it clear yesterday, this is not a negotiation. This is a national emergency. He's always willing to pick up the phone to answer calls, but he laid out the case yesterday for why we are doing this. And these countries around the world have had 70 years to do the right thing by the American people, and they have chosen not to. They have ripped off American workers. They have taken our jobs overseas. The president is putting an end to that yesterday.
And there's some truth to that again, they're the ones that manipulated the currency. They're the ones that hit us with tariffs. They're the ones that wanted take advantage of, say, us. And how were they taking advantage of us? Well, again, by manipulating currency, cheaper wages over there, borderline slavery is happening in other countries. Not to mention you also have child labor that's taking place in a lot of these mines for these precious metals. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of manipulation that's taking place that maybe we need to be caught up on here. In terms of, okay, well, if you want to impose a tariff on us and you're getting around doing some shady shit with children and slavery and forced labor and indentured servitude in other countries, yeah, I think we can offset that with our own tariffs right there and maybe get rid of some of that and bring some labor back here to the United States where we're manufacturing stuff here. It's going to be expensive, but also I don't have to rely on China for certain goods and services. And quite frankly, I don't want to rely on other countries, especially when we know that we're probably going to have to go to war with them at some point in the future with the way they're acting, wanting to invade Taiwan. You got Russia going into Ukraine. You got Iran wanting to make a nuclear warhead. You know, who the hell knows what's going on with Kim Jong-un in North Korea? I mean, you got a bunch of spazoids all across the globe. Yeah, I think manufacturing here is starting to build that up for a little bit of pain of what we're experiencing right now. I think that's important. And we're the ones that shot ourselves in the foot, too. So now you're feeling the effects of shooting ourselves in the foot. Can I just go a step further here, folks? It is remarkable to me that people are getting their panties in a bunch over Donald Trump's tariffs. They need to start looking at the debt right now. If you think this shit's bad, wait till we got to start paying off this debt. You ain't going to have any fucking money. You ain't going to have jack shit. You ain't going to own shit. You're going to be renting everything. You're going to have nothing valuable in your life because we shot ourselves in the foot. Just like we've shot ourselves in the foot here for the last 70 fucking years. The same way from the debt all the way to our manufacturing. We've done this to ourselves, and now you got someone in office that's woken up to it, and people don't like it. Mostly the mainstream media. I think a lot of Americans understand it. We did this to ourselves, and now we're going to have to climb out of it. And by the way, you're going to see this again in the future. Why? Because we're going to have to climb out of this $36 trillion in debt that will probably hit $40 trillion by Donald Trump's end of second year here as a president. 2 years. Well, I think we'll hit 40 trillion probably. Yeah, we got to climb out of this. Well, let's take a break from the tariffs for a moment. A little bit of bad doom and gloom news, but you got to let the guy cook, and we'll see the long-term ramifications of it. And look, I'll be happy. I will be happy to say I was wrong, but I don't want to say that. I want to say, hey, we were right, just like we normally are. Everybody's thriving. Everybody's doing well. We got a balancing act taking place right now, and we rebounded. Now, if you weren't familiar, I got that article that we covered in the morning about Joey. Now, some people weren't here, so we're going to cover it again. But then I have another thing about Joey, another article. I was thinking about this at work today. I just started laughing. I absolutely love it. Before we jump into it, though, if you hit that like button, folks, on YouTube, X, as well as Rumble, it would be greatly appreciated. If you want to become a member over at YouTube, preferably Rumble, just go ahead and hit that join tab. And there's an option over at Rumble. We'd love for you to join. If you don't want to join over there, a lot of you are starting to use our, I'll plug it right now. I should really start plugging it probably more. We have a website, TheBaldBrad.com. And if you go up to the top here, you don't have to, please don't feel like you have to. You could hit donate. And what I love about donate is you get to make a difference in the Bald Brad Show. Now, you don't have to choose these options. Let's go in a little bit here. For those that have bad eyesight, you don't have to choose $10, $20, $30, $40. You could do a custom amount. And you could put in that amount of a one-time donation. So if you want to throw $10,000 at me, that's fine too. But one-time donation, or you can do monthly or weekly. A lot of you have been doing monthly donations. Greatly appreciate you. And you just hit donate, you plug in your information. If you would like to do that, I have it right here for you. Now, again, please don't feel like you have to, folks. It's just there for those that want to. And those that want to support the Bald Brad Show. Oh, yeah, we have a book, Trojan Horse, right there. I wrote that. It is me. Anywho, I should really plug that more. I don't do a good job of advertising my own stuff. So let's get into it here. Where'd that article go? Where are you? So we talked about this morning. Ex-Biden aide says former president was fatigued, befuddled and disengaged prior to June debate book. How about $5,000 donation? I'd fall over in my chair if somebody made a $5,000 donation. I'd actually feel bad. People have donated $100. That hasn't been uncommon, which has been greatly appreciated. It helps us fund the show. We had a lot of software to cover, and our camera's been out and stuff like that. So everybody that donates, appreciate you. We got Crimson King. Welcome to the Bald Brad chat room, baby. Welcome. We love having you here. Thumbs up. No notes. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Well, former White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain revealed that former President Joe Biden was fatigued, befuddled, and disengaged before his debate with President Donald Trump in June. I love this article. It's made by Morning. At first meeting with Biden in Aspen Lodge, the president's cabin, author Chris Whipple, which we all cracked up at, that his last name was Whipple, was startled. He'd never seen him so exhausted and out of it, which is kind of a remarkable statement within itself, because if you look at it, Joe Biden's always looked exhausted. The guy was coming downstairs from the residence with CPAP marks still on his face. The guy had just woken up. He always looked exhausted. He was out of breath talking. I always said the teleprompter kicked Joey's ass like every day. I've still wanted to take a selfie with that teleprompter. I've still wanted to meet it. Can you imagine meeting that teleprompter and the work that it did against Joey, just shadowboxing him each and every day and kicking his ass? It's the best teleprompter out there, I'll tell you. Never gave up, never was defeated, never whined and bitched and complained that it had to deal with Joey every day. It just went out and did its job. Biden was unaware of what was happening in his own campaign. Joe Biden was unaware what was happening any moment that things were happening around him. Not a clue. Halfway through the session, the president excused himself and went off to sit by the pool. That was the best thing. That was the best thing. Okay, I still love it. We covered this whole thing this morning, so it's technically our second time going through it. And it's still a great quote. Halfway through the session, the president just walked off. That's a nice way of saying he excused himself. No. He wandered off to the pool to sit by the pool, just out there in the ether with no thought in his head. Some people want to go off and collect their thoughts and regroup a little bit. Not Joey. Not Joey. I guarantee you he forgot what he was doing. He wandered off to the pool because he thought it was the beaches of Delaware. He was reminiscing in some weird fictitious reality that he's living in. Didn't have a clue. Well, Whipple's new book titled Uncharted: How Trump Beat Biden, Harris, and the Odds in the Wildest Campaign in History is set to be released this month, which I might actually read because there's probably some gems in there. Major supporter of former president, served as chief of staff from 2021 to 2023 and helped Biden prepare for his June debate against Trump. The president was fatigued, befuddled, and disengaged, Whipple wrote, according to the excerpt. Klain feared the debate with Trump would be a nationally televised disaster. Well, it was. The debate preparation team then organized 2 mock debates for Biden. Quote, the first was scheduled to last 90 minutes, a 90-minute scheduled mock debate. But Klain called it off after 45. The president's voice was shot. And so was his grasp of the subject. 45 minutes and they had to put him down. Shit. All he could really talk about was his infrastructure plan and how he was rebuilding America and 16 million jobs. You want to know why? Because he didn't have anything. He didn't have anything to talk about. He didn't do anything in his presidency. There was nothing for him to ramble on about. He hadn't done anything other than destroy this country. So you can't blame the guy for only being able to talk 45 minutes about shit that he couldn't go on about. By the way, as I mentioned, he wasn't rebuilding anything. Still hasn't rebuilt anything. 16 million jobs. He completely made up that number. People just went back to work and he's claiming, I made 16 million. First it was 12 million. And then he changed it in the same sentence at one point to 16 million. Just fabricating shit left and right. He had nothing to say about his agenda for a second term. He had no plan. By the way, if you look at this, it was the same exact thing as Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was talking about infrastructure and rebuilding America and 16 million jobs. And we kept saying, well, why didn't you just do it? Why didn't you? You can do it now. You can walk off this stage with your weird ass cackly voice and you can fix it tomorrow. They don't want to do it. 25 minutes into the second debate, the president was done for the day. I'm just too tired to continue, and I'm afraid of losing my voice here, and I feel bad. I just need some sleep. I'll be fine tomorrow. He went off to bed. I'll figure it out tomorrow. We'll get it together. Never did. Never did. Now, that was what we covered in the morning. And hopefully I'm not missing anything in the chat. I see you guys blowing it up over there, which is awesome. It's good to see all of you. Again, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does support us here. Let's go to the chat here for a little bit. He never recovered from COVID in the basement, but it was covered up. Yes, sir. You have here watching him wandering, and the Easter Bunny had to help him was also funny. I totally forgot about that, Betch, but you're right. Yeah, the Easter Bunny did help him out. And there's probably a Secret Service agent going, fucking shit, get out of here, man. Joe. Can you imagine how fucked up that was for Joe, though? Where Joe's like, holy shit, the Easter Bunny's talking to me. I knew this shit was real. Can you imagine how fucked up that was for him? Can you imagine poor Joe? Holy shit. Holy shit. He's looking for his wife, right? I never thought about that from that angle. Just how fucked up would that be for Joe, man? Fucking Easter Bunny's talking to him. Holy shit. Nobody's gonna believe me. Oh, corn pop. Nobody's gonna... What? What do you mean get away? You don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Ex-Biden campaign here. Staffer slams former president's team for knowing he was not capable. Feels lied to. Former Biden campaign aide Ashley Allison said Wednesday that she felt lied to while discussing revelations for a new book about the 2024 presidential campaign, specifically formerly Biden White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain revealing that former President Trump was exhausted and out of it during his preparation for the June debate. Quote, do you feel lied to? ? CNN host Abby Phillip asked Allison, who worked for the Biden-Harris campaign in 2020. She said, yes, I think I hadn't been around the president before the debate, and I worked for Joe Biden. And if the people around him knew that he wasn't capable, it is unacceptable to me that they allowed him to go onto that stage. I deserve better as a voter, not even as a Democrat, as a voter, and as an American, I do. Lady, if you... We were all shouting to the skies that Joey is not okay. In 2019, seeing him pooter around, not knowing what the fuck is going on, and we were all shouting to the skies going, this guy doesn't have it together. This guy don't know where he's at. He's drooling into a drip tray. This guy's wandering off left and right, getting lost. We were all shouting to the skies. This is how blind these crazies are. Well, I didn't know he wasn't well off. Really? What were you watching? And then she actually worked with the guy and still didn't know. Give me a break. Dude, what a liar. I just had no idea. Yeah, I didn't know he was mentally ill. Everybody else did that was looking at him. We all fucking saw it. The guy hit a golf ball backwards, taking photos with people at events that were never there in the first place. The guy was taking photos with people according to his own accord, not even in the same state. This guy was looking for dead people in the crowd, surveying them. And Karine Jean-Pierre said, well, they were just top of mind. Yeah, they were dead, but they were just top of mind, is what she said during that White House press briefing. Y'all remember that one? Hitting a golf ball backwards still floors me. Yeah, the guy gets lost. Secret Service points him in the right direction. He still goes forward, doesn't know where the Oval Office is at. They literally lost him at a restaurant, and somebody was filming on their phone. I shit you not. We saw the video. Filming on their phone like this, going, holy fuck, it's the president with no Secret Service. And Joe's like, how y'all doing? How's everybody? I was like, fucking good, man. What are you doing here? Hey, everybody. Right? Do you guys remember that? It was like a wood deck, and it looked like he was in Hawaii or something. And he's like stumbling out. And he didn't know what the fuck was going on. And neither did anybody else, because nobody's ever seen a president walking aimlessly without Secret Service, right? And I was like trying to catch it without being noticed, seeing like they're filming this shit. Hey, Joe, what are you doing here? It's like a closed off area. And then if you recall, Jill Biden and his wife came and got him. Oh, hey, Joe, why don't you come on back this way? Because everybody's looking for you. Yeah, give me a break, Allison. You didn't know that this guy was freaking deranged. Give me, yeah, right. Klain told author Chris Whipple that former President Biden was fatigued, befuddled, and disengaged, which we just got done reading. He also reportedly told Whipple that he was startled by Biden's exhaustion and said the former president was out of it. I love how all these people are all of a sudden acting shocked. No, we didn't know. We had no idea. Turning to The View, co-host Anna Navarro, for her reaction to the excerpt, Phillips said, Anna, I know that Joe Biden is a friend, but in this excerpt, the part about the pool, he went off. This is in the middle of a debate prep. He just went off to the pool and he took a nap. And that was before the biggest debate of this campaign. That's not even the governance of this country. So Joe, maybe he has the best intentions. I'm sure that you believe that, but the right decision, it seems pretty unequivocally, is that he should have not run for re-election. Navarro, a supporter of Biden, said that she had been texting with Klain, who reportedly told her that his remarks were taken out of context. I don't fucking think so. I don't think those were taken out of context. No, sir. It follows in line exactly with what we've seen happening to Joey. Quote, I've known Joe Biden for over 25 years. Certainly the Joe Biden today is not the Joe Biden of 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago. It's not, but also I will tell you, and I think that comes out also in the book and the expert that I read, something clearly happened that day. Around those days, that was not the case the day after. I saw Joe Biden 24 hours after the debate here in New York. He was a completely different person. Sure he was. I don't believe that shit for one moment. Nobody believes that, Anna. Give me a freaking break. Still lying through her teeth. Oh, he's a normal person. Yeah, he wasn't deranged whatsoever. Come on. Nobody believes that. Well, I saw Joe Biden when he came to The View after he dropped out, and he was a completely different person than what we saw in that debate. What happened around those days, I don't know. And I can tell you something. I don't care because I want to talk about the future and how we fight Donald Trump and how we get rid of Donald Trump. So they're actively going to try to impeach him again? Is that what they're saying? I'm kind of confused with that. Republican strategist, Michael Shellington, referred to it as a cover-up. Allison echoed her earlier point, saying, what we are hearing right now is unacceptable to me, and I'm a Democrat. That night of the debate was terrifying for many. Many, it was scary. It hurt my heart. But it was very clear that that might not have been the first time. And I find that unacceptable. I would find that unacceptable in the Trump administration, the Obama administration, and the Bush administration, and in the Biden administration. You gotta love now. All of them want to come out of the woodwork all of a sudden. Yeah, something was fucking off with him. Something was a little weird. It wasn't the drooling, the fumbling through words, getting lost at times, losing his train of thought, running around aimlessly, not knowing where the fuck he's at, not knowing his name, doesn't know his wife's name, doesn't know that Kamala Harris is vice president. He forgot that he was actually running for president at one point in time, saying that he was running for Senate. I mean, this guy was deranged through and through, man. And now all of a sudden, oh, well, I didn't know. Yeah, there was some warning signs, but it slipped past us, maybe. And it's unacceptable. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear your shit. You know what I mean? All these Democrats think that we care about actually what they think. They voted for Joey. They voted for the guy. They voted for him. Now, for those that watched us on Dark MAGA before, I changed my accent because the guy from CNN was doing the exact same thing. You should have watched this. Oh God, this is why. I know that we're in a tight pinch here, but if you guys joined Rumble Premium, you could join us on Dark MAGA and we have the freaking time of our lives. This dude from CNN changes his accent while he's an anchor. Everybody in here that's part of Dark MAGA knows what the hell I'm talking about. He starts off with a New Yorker accent, and then he will shift away from his New Yorker accent and talk like a normal person. This dude is wild. Now, the reason why I bring him up was I needed a nice smooth transition to get to this next point here, really. CNN accused of using orange filter on Donald Trump is what's trending right now. Remember how I told you when we were watching him announcing his tariffs, I wanted you to remember what Donald Trump looked like. Now, I don't know if this is true. I haven't gone and done a deep dive. We're going to do this together. But recent social media posts have highlighted a discrepancy in the visual portrayal of former President Donald Trump on CNN compared to other networks like Fox News. By the way, this wouldn't be the first time of a color manipulation with a president. They did the same thing with Joey, and they've done the same thing with Trump before. Several users claim that CNN is using an orange filter to alter Trump's appearance, making him look more orange. This has also led to accusations of media manipulation and bias against CNN. CNN has not yet issued a statement regarding these allegations. Now, what also comes to mind here is, I don't know if it was CNN or MSNBC that manipulated Joe Rogan's image. We covered that in the past when he was talking about ivermectin, and they were going after him for saying, well, that's a horse dewormer. How could you possibly use that to cure COVID, right? Spinning the whole thing. And they they changed the color and resolution of the film itself to manipulate it. And he came out and said, well, that's kind of effed. So let's see right now. Here's the clip of Donald Trump. And let's see if you guys think they're using an orange filter. It does look a little saturated. If you look at this right here, this already looks saturated. And our flag doesn't, it just looks weird. Oh, scheitza, dude. Yeah, that looks different. There you go. That's what Daddy wanted. Folks. Hello. What do you all think in the chat? Do you think CNN manipulated it? Let me know. Let me know. Holy lordy, dude. I told you the red was off. I told you. I know what our blue, white, and stripes look like, baby. I know what the red, white, and blue looks like. I told you even this looked a little off. I was like, I don't know. That don't look right. His tie was like super vibrant. Just looked weird. Yo, dude. They got caught. They got caught red-handed. I mean, I think he looks good in both. Don't matter to me. I think Donald Trump's been looking great. That guy is aging backwards, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. But Tim Pool posted this. Whoa, on CNN, Trump is orange. On Fox, he isn't. This is a scam. Holy shit. Yeah. You cannot hate CNN enough. Can we just, everybody stop watching CNN? I mean, I don't need to tell you guys that. I know you guys don't watch CNN. Hell, I don't watch CNN either. I pull up their clips here, but I ain't giving them the views on their actual show. CNN applied an orange filter to Trump's face. I'm not sure if it was an orange filter, but they definitely messed with the saturation and the coloring of it. Now, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they didn't white balance their camera correctly. There's the benefit of the doubt. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But do you guys think do you think they used a filter? CNN are creeps. Exactly, Q. They are creeps. HK says I should really get Rumble. Yes, sir, you should. That is our main platform now. Screw YouTube, man. Now, I know YouTube, that's where a lot of people found me, but I want to point something out. YouTube is not giving us any views. They've stopped all views for our channel. They've stopped all subscriptions for our channel. They stopped everything for our channel, just to give you guys a heads up. They're not promoting a single video of mine, just to give you a heads up. So, is what it is at this point. We will grow over at Rumble and screw YouTube, basically. Absolutely, CNN use filters. Danny coming in hot. You read my mind. I was just going to see if you could contrast another news channel. Yep, they got it. They got it. Yep, look at that. Everybody, YouTube can't stand the truth. No, they cannot. Bunch of commies over there. Bunch of freaking commies. I hope YouTube implodes. I really do. I hate that company. I hate it. The way they treat people is freaking wrong. All right, well, we also got more Trump news here. This is breaking as 2 hours ago, and he's showing off the golden ticket himself. Donald Trump, and I will show you the clip, unveils a $5 million gold card. I'm telling you, this thing looks like something out of Willy Wonka, folks, when you see it. It's actually pretty funny. I hope, oh God, please, when I show you this clip, Lord, please have Trump go, I've got the golden ticket. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Please. Oh my God, dude. Could you imagine? You know how he pulled up in his, how do you like my garbage truck? God, please, sir. Trump, you got to, man. Come on. I miss the trolling. President Trump unveiled a $5 million new gold card during a press interaction on Air Force One. He described the card as potentially available for purchase in less than 2 weeks, with himself as the first buyer. Of course. Fucking of course he is. The card's purpose and legal standing remain unverified, with no official sources confirming its existence or function as a pathway to citizenship. Trump don't give a shit. He's going to do it anyways.
$5 million For $5 million, this could be yours. That was the first of the cards. And then, you know what that card is?
Gold card.
It's the gold card. Trump card, gold card.
Who's the first buyer?
Me. I'm
the second?
I don't know, but I'm the first buyer. It'll be out in about
We're going to watch it again. We're going to watch it again.
less than 2 weeks, probably. Pretty exciting, right? $5 million. For $5 million, this could be yours. That was the first of the.
Tell me this isn't Trump right here. When he's waving it, right? Like it's a badge of honor. Tell me this isn't him.
Lady. I'm sorry, no. You got past? All right, come on. I'm sorry. No, I can't let you in.
Oh God. Tell me it's not Trump right here.
Cards. And then, you know what that card is? Gold card. It's the gold card.
It's the
Trump
gold
card,
card.
gold card.
Who's the first buyer?
Me. I'm
the second?
First. I don't know, but I'm the first buyer. It'll be out in about less than 2 weeks, probably. Pretty exciting, right?
It's a gold card. Did he sign it? Did he fucking sign it? He did. Shit, I'm in the way. Hold on. He actually signed it. It has his signature on it in his face. Yes. Oh, fucking dude, this is triggering the left. You know the left are losing their minds over this, you guys. Oh God, we live in the greatest time, man. There is not, please understand, we got to soak in and bask in all of this. We get only 3.5 plus more years. It's not enough. It is not enough. Fuck. I just got goosebumps. How can we get this? We get Trump for 3.5, 4 fucking years. I'm going to live up every minute of it, man. You're not going to see another person, human being, president like this in your lifetime ever again. Wow. God, he's the best, isn't he? The left just get triggered, dude. The left just get triggered. Hey, I want to give a shout out to somebody here. I rarely do this, but I want to give it out to shout out to Heather for posting me on her X page. I love watching Bald Brad in the morning on YouTube with all the other patriots. Look at that, folks. Shout out whenever you want to take a screenshot of us here, post it to social media. That really helps get the word out there. Thank you, Heather, and everybody else. Karen, Betts, everybody, Jason, Dizzy, everybody in here. You guys always plug in the show. I greatly appreciate you. You know, it helps out because we're a team here. We really are a team. Excuse me. And without you guys, you know, I really couldn't do a lot of as much as we are doing here. So really, really appreciate all of you. We're going to continue here, but before we do so, please hit that like button, folks. It does support the channel. It is a game changer for us. And any help is greatly appreciated. I want to make sure I didn't miss any donos, and it's okay if we didn't. Just want to check, because I always miss every now and then. But glad to have you all here. Misha says, "Shwing." Yeah, Wayne's World is a good movie. Rhonda, what's going on? Rhonda. Who else we got in the chat here? I wanted to be like my platinum card with that 5 million credit line. Then you could spend at least 2.5 million before the credit company gets nervous. Yep. Big time shopping. That's a cool card though. I want a fake one. That's what we should. Oh my God. What a cash cow. Making fake gold cards for people to buy just so they have one. Don't you take my idea. I'll be pissed. I also take 10%. It was my idea. I have proof. It's on video. It's on the internet. You stole my idea. My idea was fake. Don't you take it. If you do, I want 10% cut, Patriots. Become a member. Well, we have here General Motors increases truck production in Indiana. Oh, interesting. Really? Huh. Are we already seeing the benefits of Trump's tariffs already? Maybe. General Motors has announced operational adjustments at its Fort Wayne assembly plant in Indiana, which include increasing production of light-duty trucks and hiring temporary employees. The company will also add overtime hours for its employees. Remember, Donald Trump doesn't want, was it no tax on overtime? Yeah, no tax on overtime. Can I just say something here? Mr. President, we got some of your team that does watch the Bald Brad Show every now and then. Can we get no tax on bonuses? Because it's a fucking ripoff, man. I do mean to cuss on that one. Can we get no tax on bonuses? What a scam, man. 40%, what is it, 40% tax? Somebody quote me on that one. Somebody check me on that. 40%, what a steal. He's just taking our money. Just taking our money. Can we get that in there? A lot of us are salary. We don't get overtime. These changes are part of General Motors' standard process to evaluate and align production schedules in response to current manufacturing and business needs. We got General Motors will be sharply increasing vehicle production in Indiana following Trump's tariffs per Reuters. Blue-collar Americans are winning. Hashtag winning. Joey could never. You also have here a clip of the Trump effect taking place by libs at TikTok for a post on Fox News. Let's check it out.
We were waiting to confirm this
She got hot.
Directly with General Motors, and now we have. And you tell me if this is already a sign that things are happening in President.
Can I just point something out, ladies? You don't got to be supermodel skinny. You know what I mean? To be good looking. You know, not all men want that razor thin girl. You got to have some meat on you every now and then. You know what I mean? It just looks too weird if you're like model skinny. You got to have a little bit of meat on you.
In Trump's favor. A General Motors spokesperson is now confirming there was a webcast to employees a short time ago. GM will be making operational adjustments at its Fort Wayne assembly, including hiring temporary employees to support current manufacturing and business needs. We continuously update and revise production schedules as part of our standard process of evaluating and aligning to manage vehicle inventory. This after initially Reuters was reporting on that webcast that they're going to be adding overtime hours for their employees, and they're going to be bringing some of that. They're going to be increasing the production of their light duty trucks at that American facility. We were waiting to.
There you go. There you go. It is kind of funny that she's saying this great news, but like the Dow is down. Like really actually good news for like blue collar workers. Like production, manufacturing is exactly what we want to see. And it's like on the teleprompter, it's like right there. Jeez, release. Let's give a shout out to Q, an actual patriot here on the Bald Brad channel. Q, she got a raise of 3% today. Shout out to her. Hard work does pay off, folks. Shout out to one of the patriots again. Good for you. Look, we're always rooting for one another. We're always rooting for each other's success here on the show. And I think, you know, a shout out to everybody's good work here. Or if you need prayers, it's Dizzy's birthday. Dizzy, it is your birthday today, right? I have that correct, don't I? Dizzy's birthday, I think, is today. Dizzy and Def. So shout out to him. Dizzy, 21, man. Dizzy is turning 21 years old today. It's freaking bonkers. The guy doesn't look a day over 45. I love you, Dizzy. But let me know. I think it's actually your birthday. I don't want to mess that up here. And something I want to clear up. Somebody was asking me, you know, Brad, why do you drink like so much on the show? Is remember, you guys, I teach all day. So I am talking, I think my lectures are sometimes 75 minutes long each. So if you do 75 times 3 or 4, that's how much I'm just talking and shouting to 34 people all day long. Not to mention we do an hour 15 show in the morning. Then I go talk for 75 minutes times 4. And then I come here and do the show again. So it helps me alleviate the stress that's on my vocal cord. So just if you were curious as to why I'm always sipping and wetting my whistle, that's why. Yeah, you talk a lot. Yes. So it's not like I want to, because it's actually kind of disrespectful, to be honest, to drink in front of somebody. I know some of you don't think so, but others do. But that's why, or else my voice would go out. We're not meant to talk this much. So I take little sips just to wet the whistle, coat the throat, and make a game changer for patriotism. Not to mention, it's actually harsh on the voice doing Trump impression. I've tried to dial it back, but it just makes myself laugh. I don't know if that's narcissistic or what, but yeah, well, anywho, I don't know where the hell I was going with that. We're going somewhere. Let's check out and see if Scott has anything up. We got more articles to cover, by the way. I'm not even close to being done. How long have we been streaming for? An hour and 10? What? We've been streaming for an hour and 10? Doesn't feel like I told you. Dark Mag is a fucking different beast here. We could be here for 3 hours for all I know. Who the hell knows where we're going to go with this? Scott here posted this clip. I'm not sure what it's about, but I guess it's about Donald Trump's third term and the left losing their shit over it, which I'm all about. I am always about the left losing their minds. And here's Scott himself.
Is doing. Only 33% said because they like what the administration is doing. So if we want to just keep
question, who's more popular right now, Donald Trump or congressional Democrats?
Doesn't matter. Donald Trump happens to be the president, doesn't he?
It doesn't. He's sitting at 50-50. You're sitting at 20-80.
He's at 48-50, actually, and increasingly people. Okay. You want to call the AP and tell them
you want to call CBS News?
Hold on. Everybody, calm the fuck down. Everybody, simmer down for a second. Jesus, we're gonna start it again. Fucking Scott. Oh, Scott, you're the best. We all love you. All right, we're gonna start that over. I apologize. Look at her face. I love how he triggers everybody every day on that panel. God, he doesn't get paid enough. Scott, you're an icon. You're a fucking national treasure, sir. Don't ever stop. Yeah, that is a screen grab if I've ever seen one. That is a screen grab. Oh, fuck, here we go.
The administration is doing. Only 33% said because they like what the administration is doing. So if we want to just keep
question, who's more popular right now, Donald Trump or congressional Democrats?
Doesn't matter. Donald Trump happens to be the president, doesn't he?
It doesn't. He's sitting at 50-50. You're sitting at 20-80.
He's at 48-50, actually, and increasingly people. You want to call the AP and tell them
they're closing? You want to call CBS News?
Sure.
Right. Okay. We're not going to go to that over
more importantly,
polls. We're not going to.
His numbers are going. His approval ratings are going down.
Where are yours
All right,
headed?
we got to leave it there. Coming up next,
in charge. What the administration is.
What a gem of a video! I'm so glad we found that. 2080, where are your polls at? Who do you want to contact? Scott, dude. Oh my God, he's great, isn't he? Oh, we're not done with Scott yet. Oh, you thought we were done with him? No, sir. Hold on, let's collect our thoughts. I'm sweating. Oh my God. You know, this is what I love doing this, is that the show, not that I don't prepare for the show, I do, but it's reactionary commentary. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes this show different. Not just Dark MAGA, but I'm talking about the regular Bald Brad show. I don't think many people have the balls to go and do reactionary commentary when they haven't seen something before, because they want to be very knowledgeable. A lot of these guys, folks, they sit down with a team of producers, they come up with articles, they come up with a bunch of clips. They've already seen it before. They know what it's talking about. They've done their background research on it. And so that's why they're giving you factoid after factoid after factoid. And I think that's necessary. I'm not beating them up for it. That's definitely necessary because I think it brings an element of information and informative to a show. But I think at the same time, you need that entertainment aspect and that fun that's behind it, and have somebody being real. Do you know what I mean? You're seeing the real, authentic me. And I think that's important. I really do. Here we go. We got another one with Scott. And right now, you just know his face is like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? Here we go.
At risk with the proper care that it deserves, and no one is facing consequences. That's when people check out and realize that their democracy may not be what they thought it was.
I already know how Scott's going to respond to this, so I'll let you go ahead and respond, and then I'll respond to your whataboutism.
You held a high-ranking position with Joe Biden, did you not?
Yes, you did. You did with George W. Bush.
Did you recall a single person in your White House or in your Democratic Party asking for the resignation of Lloyd Austin after Afghanistan, after the drone strike vaporized those kids, or after he went AWOL? Yes or no?
Secretary Austin never compromised American lives with information.
13 American lives were more than compromised. They were ended.
This reaction is spot on. Spot on reaction again. The guy's a legend. The guy is a freaking legend. He's one of the greats. He is one of the greats and will always be one of the greats. Here he is once again on air as President Trump came out today on the South Lawn, noted the number of hard hats in the crowd. Here we go. Yeah, we're having a whole Scott line up here today. This is freaking awesome.
I know things are hard for you right now, so I'm trying to pivot.
Look, here's the deal. What Anna said is absolutely correct. There may not be a more closely held, longer-term held view about the economy that Donald Trump has and the idea that tariffs will work. Here he comes on our screen. And you know who else is on that South Lawn? A bunch of people in hard hats. So the political ramifications of this, they think they are appealing to the working class of America that put him in office not once but twice.
I know things are hard.
And there's the hard hats for you. There's the people that love Donald Trump. That's why his poll numbers are up. And I think his poll numbers will decline slightly here from the tariff initiative because people are going to start feeling the pain of it. But they got to write it out. And I think a lot of people have a little bit of trust. I think a lot of people are just like us, where we want to kind of wait and see what happens. We have a lot of trust in Donald Trump. We know that things are going to take a while. You got to let the guy cook, and we're going to let him cook for a little bit. We got to see what he did in his first term. Joe Biden really reamed us hard on this last 4 years, so it might take a little bit more up. And by the way, go back to my old clips. I said that Donald Trump might not even be able to pull it off in 4 years. It might take longer, since Joey dug such a fucking hole for us to climb out of, that it might take longer than 4 years to get out of this bad boy. I said it. You were all here when I said it. Hedging my bet. We will see. Skin says Scott Jennings is the greatest smug Giga Chad that CNN has ever seen. Love that guy. Yes, sir. He is great. Brad had to sell his hair to pay off a debt. You're damn right, Dizzy. And fucking Dizzy, dude. Oh, Scott has the smirk on his face just like Josh Halley. That is a good comparison. Absolutely. That is a great comparison. A lot of people are throwing congrats in the chat there for Q. Love to see it. Also, a lot of people, just let you know, Dizzy, over at YouTube are saying happy birthday. They're wishing you a happy birthday. And congrats on the raise. Scott Jennings is keeping CNN afloat. Yeah, yeah. Well, so's Trump, right? CNN couldn't be happier to have Trump in office. Like they couldn't wait to have Trump there, because that's the only thing that's really keeping them going. We have another clip here of Scott Jennings, by the way. Scott's advice to Republicans holding a thin margin in the House: eat healthy, get on your treadmill, try not to die.
Trump voters didn't move over to Democrats. Now you don't. You can. You usually do. But numbers are numbers.
I disagree, and here's why. It's a turnout game. And this is a condition of the Republican Party that is true. We now have a party that's made up of lower propensity voters. They tend not to vote when Donald Trump's not on the ballot. They turn out at lower rates, especially when elections are happening at odd times. And this is an issue the party's going to have to grapple with. Democrats have these higher propensity voters who turn out for everything. And I think it creates a mirage of what you just said, that maybe people are switching. I don't think they're switching. I just think the highest propensity voters are turning out. Democrats have a few more of those right now. I mean, that having been said, my advice to House Republicans right now is eat healthy, get on your treadmill. Try not to die if you live in a district that's any worse than either of these two between now and next November, or at least now in this summer when we got to pass a reconciliation bill, because it's thin margins. But the Republicans, I think, are going to hold this thin margin and hopefully hold it long enough to get Donald Trump's legislative agenda across the line.
That sounds like a diagnosis of someone who thinks you have some flipping voters.
Did she not listen to anything he just said? How do you get that from that? Really? It makes you wonder what some of these people, yeah, it really does. It makes you wonder what's going on in these people's heads. And some might say absolutely nothing. One of the greats, folks, is up again. It's not Scott Jennings. I think we're done with Scott for a while. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen Miller on Globalization on Laura Ingram's show. The man is one of the greats, folks. He's another eraserhead just like me. Make bald great again, Stephen. You're sharp as a freaking tack. Here he is.
What is this economic policy that our elites in the United States, so-called elites, have had for the last half century, Democrat and Republican? Globalization is the redistribution of American wealth to foreign countries. It is a formal policy of trying to develop foreign nations at the expense of the U.S. working and middle class. Trillions of dollars that would be in the pockets of American workers is now in China, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Canada, Mexico, all across Africa, all across Asia. It is the great theft of American prosperity. Prosperity that was won through our victory in multiple wars. We left World War II as the dominant economic unipolar superpower. And instead, over the ensuing decades, all of that wealth, all of that manufacturing, all of that industry was ripped apart by our elites, shipped to foreign countries, and then they sent us the bill. They said, you have to protect Korea, you have to protect Europe, you have to protect Canada, you have to protect Japan. We won't take your cars, we won't take your agriculture, we'll take away your steel industry, your aluminum industry, your copper industry, your electronics industry. All of the national industries that you need to be secure and successful as a country. So what President Trump is saying is, these are the injustices you have to remedy. This isn't just about moving around some lines on a ledger. This is about remedying the systemic injustice that says the streets of America are filled with European cars and Japanese cars, but the streets of Europe and Japan have no American cars. This is about saying that the American steel industry, which once built and sustained the modern world and is now a former husk of itself, coming back now thanks to Trump's tariffs, has to be completely revitalized.
Stephen.
So we have a new name for Stephen Miller. And shout out to George for calling it Miller the Killer, baby. Miller the Killer. I like the sound of that. I also want to give a shout out to, let me get the name on here. I want to give a shout out to a couple people. Charles Kelvin 20. Shout out to you for following over at Rumble. Love that. Thank you, Charles. Hop in the live chat with us. Come hang out with us, dude. And then we got Rhonda here as well. Rhonda, thank you for following. I think Rhonda, I did see in the chat, I believe. If not, Rhonda, hang out with us in the chat. Would love to have you over here. And then Blue Collar Jedi 90 as well, which we gave a shout out. We got a lot of new followers here on Rumble. I'm telling you guys, we're starting to grow pretty exponentially on Rumble. It's kind of crazy to think about. So shout out to everybody that's always following us over here and plugging our show. Let's get into a little bit of other news here. Let's kind of switch some stuff up. Let's see what's going on with some of these crazies that are posting on TikTok a little bit. TikTok might go away April 5th, which is this weekend. We will see. That's why I haven't invested too much time into it. But if you haven't seen my most recent TikTok, it is kind of going off. We got about 25,000 views as far as what I last had, talking about gold and how Donald Trump could wipe out the debt, and people not getting what I'm saying. But here's Zachary Sandy, a male teacher. A shout out to all the teachers here.
I do want to share with you the one tragedy that I see in all of this, and that is this. I never had the opportunity to say goodbye to my students. This happened so quickly, I was not allowed back in the classroom. And the one thing that breaks my heart right now is I will never get to tell all of these students the impact that they have had on me.
That's a teacher. That's a teacher. So, we got another thing here from Zachary. Yes, this is or was a teacher. I don't know what the hell's going on here. So this is Zachary, a man pretending to be a woman. Zachary is a teacher at some school, I guess. He says he gets gender euphoria from being called ma'am and feels affirmed when his students use his female name and pronouns. It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
Hi, I'm Rosie, Texas English teacher and transgender goddess, here with just a couple of thoughts about some gender euphoria that I've been feeling today. So for those of you that don't know, gender euphoria is the feeling you get when you finally feel comfortable in your gender, when something good happens and it just brings you a lot of joy and calm, and it's been happening to me a lot today. This morning, when I stopped at the gas station for my morning energy drink, I got ma'amed, which is so funny because I know that there are a lot of women who really don't like being called ma'am, but I like it a lot. It's so new to me and it's so wonderful. And it was such a small thing to make me this happy. And then at school today, I'm surrounded by kids. I teach sophomores and I have these 15, 16-year-olds who are completely on board, who, when I told them I had changed my pronouns, jumped right into it. They call me ma'am, they call me miss. They use my correct pronouns and know my correct name. And it is incredibly affirming. So I guess my message here is, if you have any trans people in your life, it is so easy to show them love. So easy. All you have to do is respect them. Something as simple as calling a trans woman ma'am could be the thing that completely changes her entire day. It does for me. I've been out for 7 months and it never, ever, ever gets old. So I just want you to know, if you have trans people in your life, love them, because it means everything to them.
You shouldn't rely on other people for happiness. I'm just going to say it. You shouldn't. People will always fail you. I hope the Patriots never fail me, and I'll try to never fail you guys. But you should not place your happiness, your heart, your stake in a person. Now, look, I know that, I love my wife. I know my wife loves me. I know you guys have others in your life as well that you love. But you having that place for somebody else, or you need that affirmation from somebody, and that's what's going to create happiness for you. I think that's setting yourself up for failure and for pretty strong depression, which is what we see from the trans community. I put my stake not in people, but into a being, and that being is God. Christ is king, folks. That's where a being is not going to let you down. They will put obstacles and struggles in your way that you're going to have to overcome. That's going to make you stronger, but they would have never put you through that obstacle if they never thought you could overcome it in the first place. Very rarely do we talk about faith and religion here on the show, but mankind, there's a great, it's Aristotelian, talks a lot about what's called the pursuit of happiness. It's a pursuit, meaning it's something that can change. It's something that has to be found. It's an obstacle that needs to be taken so that you can actually find it and obtain it. I do a lot of different things in my life, not that I'm the standard, but I do a lot of different things because I seek out those happiness in those things. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning because I love doing the Bald Brad Show, and I get to hang out with all you people. I love that. That gives me happiness, but at the end of the day, that is not my foundation of happiness. My foundation of happiness is God. It's in the scriptures. It is my faith in what God has done. And so excuse me, I think that needs to be taken away from a lot of people. I feel bad for this person because, look, I'm not going to beat up on the person's looks, okay? The person's clearly going through something. And the problem that I have is that you're having somebody's child play into your delusions. That's what I don't like. And that's what kind of throws me for a loop. If you want to be transgender, be trans. It's an adult. They can be whatever they want. They want to be a doggy, go out. I think it's weird. I think it's different. But I don't think you should have somebody play into a false reality, especially somebody else's kid. I think that fucks with their mind. Their mind's not fully developed yet. They're still trying to navigate life themselves. And I think that's just a little odd, a little weird that you're supposed to be an educator that's bringing them facts to the best of your ability, and that you're having them play into a delusion that's not real. I think that's a little weird. Now, to be fair, the kids are calling you by your pronouns probably because they're trying to be polite. You are handling their grade book, and so they know who holds the power in the classroom, and that's ultimately you. I don't think it should be that way. I don't think somebody should be fearful of their grades being manipulated by an educator. I think that's wrong. But that would be one reason, sir, why somebody is doing that. And I want nothing but the best for this person. I want to be clear on that. But it sounds like they lost their job, and I don't know if that was attributed to libs at TikTok or what, but it sounded like they resigned, so I'm not exactly sure. But there's I think this is satirical, but there's a clip here on modern form of education. Check this one out.
First question, 1 + 1. Yes.
2.
Incorrect. Yes.
Multiculturalism.
Well done, Simon. Next question, what is 3 × 3? Yes.
9.
Wrong. Yes, Penelope.
Gender equality.
Very good, Penelope.
Is this a joke?
You think gender equality is a joke?
No, but isn't this a maths class? Don't be so racist. I just asked a question.
We don't ask questions. Questions are offensive.
Yeah! Let me see this.
You have no idea how close to reality this actually is.
They've just written equality and drawn love hearts on a piece of paper.
Did you see how it's spelled wrong? This is satire, but I'm telling you, it's scratching the surface of being full-blown reality. I've lived it. It's truly mind-blowing. It is bonkers, but leave it up to the crazies out there to have us all play into this whack stuff. You want to know why it's crazy? I don't know if you all remember. There were these professors, and it might have been from Cal State Long Beach. I can't remember where university it was from. We're trying to implement the fact that if you say that 2 + 2 = 4, you are racist. And what they were attributing that to was, well, math has really come from different forms of the white man, and white man has colonized all these different areas around the globe. So it only caters to the white man and not the minorities and people of color. And so what they were trying to do in mathematics is the hand of God, a real thing. They tried to implement this in the school districts across the nation. They were saying that you need to accept minorities and people of color's wrong answers as being truth in mathematics. I need to point something out. In mathematics, it's not like we just make shit up out of thin air. A lot of the formulas and algorithms and the processes that we utilize within mathematics have what's called proofs, meaning it's been proven to work. That's very layman's terms. You don't just get to say 2 + 2 = 5, and we're supposed to accept that, and then everybody else is wrong. By the way, this is for foundational math. It all crumbles at the end of that. And so if you don't accept 2 + 2 = 5, according to the left, the crazy and the psychos, you are deemed a racist now. I'm not joking one bit. I'm as serious as a heart attack. I'm not even sugarcoating it or being, that's exactly what they're pointing towards. And I would know because I was a math teacher. I'm glad I'm not in the education space. It's crazy. Oh, it's bonkers, man. Although it's also an easiest time ever to succeed. I mean, if you want to separate yourself from everybody else, you can. If you want to know what general education is like, you need to take AP classes nowadays. That's just our general education. They do in Iowa, and I hate it. No, they actually did this to one of my nieces, and we pulled her out and pulled her into a private school. It is seeping into private schools around the country as well. The experts told me being on time is racist too. Experts should know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stephanie says, how are parents okay with this? I don't think they are, but at the same time, I mean, what are you going to do? As someone named Zach, we do not claim them. Well, now I know your name. Thank you. Now I know names. It's kind of cool. I wish I got to see what some of you actually look like. It's weird. I just know you by names. I don't know what you guys look like. But regarding tariffs, we only have been making other countries richer, makes their military fierce, while leftists, I want to recruit men without their, oh boy. Jade, you got to go over to Rumble with that stuff. Holy Lordy. Holy Lordy. Well, we have more stuff coming up here, folks. Like I always said, if you're enjoying what you're seeing and listening to, make sure you hit that like button. We got JD Vance out here, and it looks like JD's doing the rounds right now regarding these tariffs, getting out and about. He says all sorts of stuff here. Let me actually get to the bottom line to this here. He started off saying we're going to have a booming stock market for a long time because we're reinvesting in the United States. And that reinvestment takes time to grow. Again, that's the tough thing. You want this to be instantaneous, and I wish it was. But to see the growth of something, think of natural order, the way God created things. Growth takes time. You all didn't grow to be 5 foot something in a day. It took your ass years to get 5 foot something. It's going to take time in the same way for things to grow. A tree doesn't grow in a day. Money doesn't grow in a day necessarily. Sometimes it does. The market needs time to grow.
About American workers and about American small businesses, and they're the ones who are really going to benefit from these policies. Think about how many factories we've seen close down. Since NAFTA in the early 90s, 90,000 American factories have been closed down. That's small towns that have been blighted. That's millions of workers who have lost their jobs. That has to stop.
And that's your wheelhouse.
President Trump, that is my wheelhouse.
That's where you're from.
I grew up in a town where you had 10,000 great American steel workers, and my town was one of the lucky ones. Now probably has 1,500 steel workers in that factory because you had economic policies that rewarded shipping our jobs to China instead of investing in American workers. And that's what President Trump, he ran on changing it, he promised he would change it, and now he has. And I think Americans are going to reap the benefits.
Oh, JD, I agree with you, sir. And JD's looking good too. What's going on with these guys? I mean, JD's looking clean. He's looking thinner. He's looking sharper. He's growing the beard out. It's like, he's looking good, man. JD was kind of chubby before. And so was Trump. Trump's losing weight. It's like, is it because of Pete? Pete's out there working with the Marines and the SEALs and the Green Berets, just out there, just push-ups. Trump's looking good. Can you imagine if Trump just comes out and he has like a six-pack one day? Like, what the fuck, Trump? Trump's looking good. Because RFK's buff, dude. He's up there in age, but he's looking good too. The guy's chiseled. I wonder if they're doing some sort of regiment with Trump, man. They're all just getting down, just so much testosterone in the White House. Just guys just doing dumbbells all day. Hell, I don't know. Folks, we only have 19 likes over at Rumble. We got over 40 people watching, though. If you could hit that thumbs up button, I guess it looks like that. It does support the show. Would appreciate you. If you're curious on where it's at, I could show you. Don't worry. Look, I clicked on it myself. It's right here. You just got to clicky. It's right here. And if you're not following, hit the follow button and repost. There you go. I clicked it too. I'm supporting the Bald Brad Show. What other news do we have here? We got Brian Panbecker, retired 24-year-old UAW member. Nobody was crying these crocodile tears when they were closing our car plants. No, sir. No, sir.
What I would say is this, Liz. It's already had positive effects before they even went into effect. Stellantis announced they were going to move a new truck, an EV pickup truck, into the idled Belvidere, Illinois plant. So Hyundai, I believe it was, announced a multi-billion-dollar investment in one of the southern states to build a new plant to build their cars and trucks, or cars and vehicles down there. So before he even put these into effect, his tariffs were having a positive impact on the American economy and on creating American jobs. Secondly, I just want to note that nobody was crying these crocodile tears when they were closing the Mound Road engine plant that Chrysler had in Macomb County, or the Romeo engine plant in Romeo, Michigan in Macomb County. But all of a sudden, now that we're trying to bring these products back, these components and these vehicles back to the United States, all of a sudden, all the so-called experts are saying it's going to plunge us into recession and be terrible for the economy. Yeah. So thank God. If they're crying, I think we're doing something right.
His voice reminds me of somebody, and I don't know who it is. It's from some sort of movie, and I think I know what movie it is. Hold on one second. Tell me that guy doesn't remind you of this. Tell me that guy does not remind you of this scene right here in this voice.
Hey, buddy. I want you to do me a favor. You see that lady? She's very important to me, okay? Okay. So, I want you to take extra special care of her. You know what I'm talking about here? I can't accept that. But I'll tell you what I can do. I can take extra special care of that young lady over there for nothing. Okay, I appreciate that. Have a nice afternoon.
Well, sir, could I trouble you for a glass of warm milk? It helps put me to sleep.
You could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up. Now you will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep. Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Oh, dear.
I don't know why that guy reminded me of that scene, but he did. His voice sounds like it. It totally sounds like it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I love it. I freaking really love it. You will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep. He really killed that role. It's freaking great. They're coming out with a Happy Gilmore too. I can't wait. Well, speaking of other funny, crazy stuff out there, you got Jasmine Crockett's back, and well, she's DEI hiring story ignites a discussion. Oh, Representative Jasmine Crockett, and I've been sitting on this one for about a day and a half now, shared a story about her early career as a public defender, where she confidently requested a job despite lacking criminal defense experience. She told her potential employer that they should hire her, attributing her boldness to her gracious nature. The antidote has sparked discussion about diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring practices and their impact on professional, basically professor meritocracy. Real.
Say because you've been gracious is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. Say because you've been gracious is this. When I first became a public defender.
So is she saying that she was hired because she's black? She had no experience? I wouldn't want her. I wouldn't want her defending me. Hell no. Hell no, Clarice. Hell no. Another irritating woman on the left that is racist. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of people out there, a lot of crazies, a lot of people don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know how she got popular, but it seems like the Democrats just absolutely love her. They just are thriving over her. I guess this is also resurfacing here, which is kind of fun. You're not going to recognize him because he actually has normal hair. But I guess Schumer's 1996 immigration stance resurfaces. Somebody's pulling out the VHS tapes. They were trying to record like my mom used to do, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. And, well, it was overtaped with Chuck Schumer talking about immigration, I guess. In 1996, Senator Chuck Schumer expressed concerns about illegal immigrants defrauding programs like Social Security. Oh, what does that sound like, Patriots? What does that sound like? As highlighted in recent social media discussions, these posts have resurfaced his comments to contrast with his current stances on immigration. The online conversation reflects on the potential shift in Schumer's views over the years, prompting questions about political consistency. Oh, okay. Oh, who is that? Suckling at the government teat since 1996 that's who that is. That's Chuck Schumer.
I thank the gentleman, salute him for his work on this, rise in support of the amendment. First of all, Social Security card is used from one end of America to the other as an identification card right now. Who are we kidding? If you want to pass a law and says it shouldn't be, I would ask the chairman and the distinguished minority member of the Social Security committee to pass that law, but let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. And here, the gentleman from Florida has put together the most effective anti-fraud measure we can find without it changing the actions of the government one bit. And we find all this opposition. Ladies and gentlemen of this chamber, what I worry about is that this bill, which started out with good intentions, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, is going to end up being the same kind of thing that the public gets angry with us on. We say we're doing something, and we do nothing.
Oh, the clip's not even done yet. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just listen to these people. You're doing the same shit now, Chuck, you idiot.
Because every time someone makes a rational and small proposal...
You're right, his voice hasn't changed in the slightest. That's crazy. They make a great point.
...proposal to get something done, people say, well, what about this hypothetical, that hypothetical, etc. I urge support of this amendment. If you believe you want to stop fraud in immigration, you have no choice but to support this amendment.
I'll tell you what happened to Chuck. How did he flip on a dime? He didn't. He sold his soul to the devil is what he did. He sold it. It's gone. It's not coming back again. Jeez, man. This 1996 Schumer could have stopped this crap from ever happening. What the F changed? Well, Juanita, I told you, girl, he sold his life to the devil. You have to go back nearly 30 years to see Schumer telling the truth. Oh, Jeff, yes, sir. Not the Jeff in the chat, but yes, sir. Oh, that was good. Once upon a time, they understood these things. Something else at play. Yeah, evil. The irony, there's only one reason he's changed his mind on the subject. Schumer is a thief, bought and paid for. That's what happens when you sell yourself off, folks, to the devil. Who knew we would agree with Schumer? Folks, I've said this was from the 90s. I said if you listen to Bill Clinton, the Democrats from the 90s, they would sound Republican. I've said this time and time again. There's nothing new here. Nothing new. Just go back and listen. Listen to Barack Obama's speeches right before he hit the campaign trail. He sounds like a Republican almost. It's crazy. It's bonkers. I sound like Jerry Seinfeld. It's in the news. It's the B movie. He's too old now to remember he said that. These people forget what they said in the past. When Democrats were Republican, took it right out of my mouth. when we're Democrats or Republicans. Well, isn't he just the biggest hypocrite? Wow. Charles Schumer, you own pot calling the kettle black. True. All true. Bunch of crazies out there, man. A bunch of freaking crazies. We ain't crazy, though. Yeah, VHS, y'all remember that one? Yeah, slide in. You remember Blockbuster and you had to rewind the stuff? I remember. Hit that like button if you're having a good time, folks. Please help us. Hit the subscribe button if you're having a really good time. You have the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick announcing that today alone, President Donald Trump secured $6 trillion committed to the United States. Part of the deal, folks.
All right, Secretary, I mean, you've known Trump for a very long time. Have you seen this movie before?
Well, this is his movie that he's been talking about for 35 years. He said, we've been ripped off. You can go find video of him from 1988 on Oprah talking about how we're being ripped off. He finally gets to stand up for American workers, stand up for America, bring the factories back home, and get rid of this national emergency called our trade deficit, which is outrageous.
Now, we're not going to have all factories come back. Like clothing manufacturing, that's tough to bring back. But what kind of manufacturing are you talking about returning here?
Well, you can't just give that away. See, what's going to happen is robotics are going to replace the cheap labor that we've seen all across the world. I mean, think of what our factories did. They went to the cheapest labor in the whole world, slave labor, cheap labor, the worst environmental conditions, polluting the heck out of it. And then we bring back those cheap products here and we feel good about ourselves because we don't see the pain. But the pain is in our workers. The American workers have been given the raw deal. And what's going to happen now is we're going to build factories and we're going to train and we're going to have trade craft. We're going to do the greatest set of training ever. And our high school educated people, they're going to train to do robotics mechanics. It's kind of like a supercharged BMW.
Here's what he's missing. And again, I keep emphasizing that a lot of people are missing this. To do that type of work, you need to have a high IQ. This is the problem that we're going to have. And I think nobody's talking about it. The problem we're going to have is when the American IQ drops, you're not going to have enough people to fill those positions to be able to take care of the demand that you would need with a high IQ. This is a major problem that nobody's talking about. And maybe I'm wrong because you might have artificial intelligence that can be used as an asset to figure all this shit out for somebody else. So maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I am. But you're not going to have enough people with high IQs to do these types of jobs when you're talking about fucking robots, coding, and all this stuff. Maybe AI itself will figure it out and help us as a tool, as a mechanism to be able to fill these positions, but I don't know. I'm optimistic.
Mechanic, like you just can fix those robots. You can build air conditioning as an example, but that's for a fab or for a semiconductor factory. These are great paying jobs that our Americans, we're going to have 5 million of those jobs coming. And America is going to retool. It's going to do manufacturing, and robotics can sew as well. You've never seen anything like what you're going to see, the renaissance of American manufacturing coming because Donald Trump is bringing them back. He's driving them back. $6 trillion, he said today, he's got committed to America. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, and it's something that'll keep going. And I want to throw this kind of at y'all right now, is what he's talking about here. This is from a year ago, by the way, meaning that the robots are even more advanced now than they were when this was recorded. These things are research that I've done. It's not going to hit. Hey, there we are. Look at that. That's us right there. We're not going to hit, I think, the same amount of dexterity that a human hand can get, but we're getting pretty close. Here's something from 4 weeks ago in terms of manufacturing for these robots. This is crazy, man. This is just absolutely crazy what the technology is getting to, and it's only going to be exponential. That's trippy, man. I'm actually going to mute it because we're going to get flagged. But look at this thing, huh? This is, I know people go, well, it's not really that efficient. Folks, this isn't anything like it's going to be. Remember how we were all sitting there for a while looking at Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like, yeah, right, this is fucking cool. It's coming. It's coming. Skynet is coming. That kind of looks like me. That's creepy. But look at these things running and jumping, man. What? This is not, by the way, this is not computer generated. This shit is real. This is all real, by the way. So get ready. And I don't think a lot of low-skilled labor realizes that you're going to price yourself out of the market now that you're going to be competing with robots. Sooner or later, it is going to happen. It is going to take place. It's going to be cheaper. You don't have to worry about health care. I mean, you'll have insurance, but you don't have to worry about payroll. All this stuff, it'll pay for itself in like a year. These things are going to be so cheap at some point that everybody's going to have one. It's like iRobot with Will Smith, except the robot's not going to slap the shit out of you like Will Smith will do. But this is bonkers, man. Let's get to a little bit of these robots here. I want to see it kind of put stuff away. Here we go. Isn't this crazy, man? I would imagine they'd be able to plug themselves in. I mean, if they could do shit like this, is crazy. If they could do stuff like this, and that's why I keep saying, well, one, we got to start maybe even looking at UBI, Universal Basic Income. I'm dead serious. This is gonna be freaking wiping out tons of jobs here. I keep telling fast food workers, you're going to price yourself out of the market sooner or later, and that's why you got all these kiosks. I would rather go to a kiosk and actually talk to somebody. The kiosk, I know ain't going to fuck up my order because I'm the one putting it in, so I'm the only one to blame. Now, the person making it can mess up the order, but I'm all for this. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to wipe out a lot of jobs. These things are going to be driving soon. You already got self-driving cars. That's only going to get better. The more AI gets better, the more that we have power to be able to generate AI, all this stuff's going to just completely shift the markets. And I don't think anybody's really prepared for it. I don't think anybody is. Nobody's talking about it. The school systems aren't talking about it. I talk about it all the time. Talk about it all the time. All the time. Some other breaking news that was happening that we didn't get to in this morning episode was that 40 arrested in Texas operation targeting Tren de Aragua gang that the crazies in the left just absolutely love. In a joint operation conducted on Tuesday in Hays County, Texas, over 40 individuals were arrested on suspicion of being members of affiliates of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. The operation was initiated following intelligence gathered by the FBI regarding a possible gathering of the gang. In addition to the arrests, narcotics were seized during the operation. Protests occurred, with some demonstrators expressing support for the arrested individuals and advocating for the welcoming and inclusive community environment. So it looks like this is a little bit of the clip here.
And the other clip we don't know.
The noise is kind of there, kind of annoying. Come on, I want to see the good stuff. Whee! Whoop, 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 whoop. Love it. Oh, there you go. That kind of blew out my eardrums, but that happened. So good on the FBI doing the Lord's work. They could never do it under Joey. But getting the work done over there, now that you got Dan Bongino and Kash Patel doing yeoman's work for the American people, keeping the American people safe. That's exactly what they're there for, to be policemen and doing the work. Greatly appreciate all the men and women in blue that wear the uniform, not just for localities, but also for the United States of America. We got Trump commenting on a couple things here on Air Force One. There was a whole clip. Let's watch a little bit of it. I had this queued up before I even went live. Let's watch a little bit of him on Air Force One here, talking about the current affairs that are going on with the tariffs and whatnot. Look at all these vultures. They'll switch camera angles in a second.
Hello, I haven't seen you in a while. $5 million. For $5 million, this could be yours. That was the first of the cards. See that? You know what that card is? Gold card. It's the gold card. The Trump card, gold card.
Who's the first buyer?
Me. I'm the first. I don't know, but I'm the first buyer. It'll be out in about less than 2 weeks, probably. Pretty exciting, right?
Ready for some questions?
Anybody want to buy one? Okay, let's go.
First, we'd love to get your reaction, sir, to what's going on in the financial markets today.
Well, I mean, it's to be.
By the way, it's as loud as it goes, okay, folks? So I'll try to be quiet. I'm going to be interrupting it from time to time, but just want a heads up. This is as loud as it goes. I apologize.
Expected where this is a.
No, that's not Caitlin Collins. it looks slightly like Caitlin Collins because of the way that she has the RBF, but no.
Patient that was very sick. We really inherited a terrible economy, as you know, with a lot of problems, including loss of manufacturing and plants closed up all over the country. You know, we've lost 90,000 plants since NAFTA, if you think of that. 90,000. It's not even believable. And about 6 million jobs. And so it was a sick patient. It went through an operation on Liberation Day. And it's going to be a booming country, a very booming country. It's going to be amazing, actually. And we see it because we have trillions of dollars committed to come in. Trillions.
Sir, can I ask you, when you say that it was an operation and the patient's healthy now, does that mean you see us as kind of towards the high water mark in terms of
operation?
How high?
Sure. The operation's over, and now we let it settle in. You see the plants are starting to construction already. We have many plants. Indiana, massive auto plant, the Honda, and we have so many plants, and they'll be under construction. And as they start to build, you're going to see a lot of construction jobs, and you're going to see a lot are jobs when they open.
Does that mean chips and pharma tariffs are not on the table?
Starting very soon. The chips are starting very soon. The pharma is going to be starting to come in, I think, at a level that you haven't really seen before. We are looking at pharma right now, pharmaceuticals, as a separate category, and we'll be announcing that sometime in the near future, not too distant future. That's under review right now.
Are you negotiating with partners currently?
What we have is a set of tariffs based on what they've been charging us. That's reciprocal. And those tariffs have come in, and every country has called us. That's the beauty of what we do. We put ourselves in the driver's seat. If we would have asked some of these countries, almost most of these countries, to do us a favor, they would have said no. Now they'll do anything for us. But we have tariffs, they've been set, and it's going to make our country very rich.
Are you open to deals with these countries if they're calling you?
Well, it depends. If somebody said that we're going to give you something that's so phenomenal, as long as they're giving us something that's good. For instance, with TikTok as an example, we have a situation with TikTok where China will probably say, we'll approve a deal, but will you do something on the tariff? The tariffs give us great power to negotiate. Always have. I've used them very well in the first administration, as you saw, but now we're taking...
It sounds like there's something cooking behind the scenes with TikTok then. There's an individual that claims to possibly have his hat in the ring. I'll try to see if I can remember what the name was. Some no-namer guy. I guess I shouldn't say no-namer. He's a billionaire, but allegedly he wants to buy it, and it's a huge thing for conservatives if that's the case, because he just wants to allow free speech to reign. You guys, they are suppressing conservatives and Republicans on TikTok like they are with YouTube. It's worse, actually.
Taking it to a whole new level because it's a worldwide situation, and it's very exciting to see. And what it's done is driven a lot of great companies to our country, and you're going to see construction starting all over. I already got a couple of calls from Lee Zeldin from Environmental. He's got some big plans to approve, like really big plans.
How long will it take to get American manufacturing to where you would like to see it?
Well, let's say it's a 2-year process. You know, they start a plant.
I told you it's not something that's going to happen in a month or a year. It's going to take a while, man. And like I keep mentioning this, I don't know if Trump's going to be able to pull off everything in 4 years here. Stuff takes a long freaking time.
They're big plants. We're giving them approval to also, in many cases, to build the electric facility with it. So you have electric generation and the plant, and they're big plants. Now, the good news is a lot of money for them, and they can build them fast, but they're still very big plants. So I'd always say it would take a year and a half to 2 years.
Mr. President, I'm curious.
You've already started some of them.
Have you been following the New York City mayor's race? And specifically, Andrew Cuomo is now the front runner, according to the polls. How do you feel about that? Do you think you could have a good relationship with a mayor, Andrew Cuomo?
Well, I've always gotten along with him. We had our ins and outs a little bit. We did a great job for him. Remember, we built the convention center rooms for him. He didn't use them, unfortunately. And we sent the Mercy ship. We sent the really magnificent hospital ship, and they didn't use it. But we always had a pretty good relationship.
You going to make an endorsement in that race?
Well, it's not something I'm thinking about yet. Is he thinking about running? Yeah.
On Russia, Ukraine, there's a Russian envoy in town for some meetings. Can you give us an update on how that's going?
We do. We have an envoy from Russia. We're talking about it. We'd like to see that stop as soon as possible because thousands of people are being killed a week. Soldiers, mostly soldiers.
Horrible.
And Ukrainian soldiers and Russian soldiers. And you're losing 2,000, 3,000 sometimes a week. So we're spearheading the drive to get it done. Europe has not been successful in dealing with President Putin, but I think I will be successful.
So I want to ask you about the NSC. How many staffers were let go and why? Your National Security Council. How many staffers were let go?
There were some. Always we're going to let go of people that we don't like, or people that we don't think can do the job, or people that may have loyalties to somebody else. You'll always have that.
So you mentioned Netanyahu recently. Israel has now talked about staying in Gaza, doing long-term occupation. Has anything changed in regard to the U.S. Gaza-Israel plans?
I spoke to him today, as a matter of fact.
Here we go.
And I think he's going to be coming to our country sometime in the not-too-distant future, maybe next week.
Whoa!
And we'll speak about Israel, and we'll speak about what's going on. That's another thing we'd like to get solved. And I think we will get it solved. But I think he very well may be coming next month. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Up on your earlier comment about TikTok, you said that the Chinese might be willing to agree to approve that sale in exchange for tariff relief. Is that something that you've floated to them or you've heard from them? Or
no, I'm just using that as an example. Okay. Let's say we had a problem.
I actually like that question from that reporter because I wasn't sure if he was just using an example. I thought maybe there was something else going behind the scenes because, like I said, this sucker goes dark. It's like Saturday.
With TikTok, and let's say China wasn't going to approve, we could use tariffs in order to get it approved. You give them something in return.
What's the update on the
That girl just gave her phone password to everybody. Just a heads up. That girl just gave out her password to everybody. Oh, God.
Negotiations for TikTok.
We're very close to a deal with a very good group of people for TikTok.
Is it multiple investors? Just
multiple.
And then did the last minute bids kind of throw things into disarray for you, or do you have your strategy completely locked up on who's going to
Which last minute?
On acquiring TikTok?
No, I think that China maybe will call and say, well, we're upset with the tariffs, and maybe they want to get something a little bit in order to get TikTok approved. Who knows? I have no knowledge of that, but that's the kind of thing that we're on.
Can you give us any update on the Palestinian relocation plan? Are we talking to any countries?
We're going to try and solve the Gaza problem. It's been a problem for many years, for many, many decades. It's been a big problem. I've met with, as you know, a lot of the hostages. It's a terrible situation. But if you notice, hostages are being released now. And that's happened only since I got involved. So we have hostages being released, quite a few, actually.
You're still committed to the relocation?
I'd like to get as many hostages as we can. And then Gaza is a very, very important thing. It's been under siege for many, many years. And it's a shame. It's a shame. A lot of people die in Gaza. Gaza's been...
It's interesting that he's not willing to talk about it, and I wonder why. I don't know, but God, he's doing so much, man. I can't. Honestly, it's not a bad thing for me. Like, I don't know if the fucking guy's serious or not. I don't know where Trump's at on this, because the world leaders are in the same boat as we are. Like, is this fucking guy serious? Like, what is he gonna do? That's where you want to keep people in that realm of, is he gonna fucking do it? He might. That's where you want people, because they don't know what the hell you're going to do. They better play the safe game.
Place we have a lot of people die. A lot of bad things happen in Gaza. We'll see what we can do about it.
Dinner tonight. Can you tell us about it? Who's going to be there? Any leaders?
So dinner tonight is I have a couple of them, actually.
It's a souffle with a nice Grenadier, and I get to hold the blowtorch, so don't get close to me. All jokes aside, it's going to be a creme brulee, maybe a nice seared salmon.
But a lot of it's based around charity. It's at Doral, and we raise a lot of money for charities. We're going to also have having one of the big golf tournament, professional golf tournament there live, and that'll take place over the next few days at Doral from I guess tomorrow till I think they have a pro-am right now, but I'll be speaking tonight. I think I'm making a speech to the players, great players, some of the best players in the world, and ultimately, hopefully, the two tours are going to merge. That would be good. I'm involved in that too, but hopefully, we're going to get the two tours to merge. You have the PGA Tour, you have the LIV Tour, and I think having that merge would be a great thing.
Mr. President, about the tariffs, do you have any message for the American businesses that might feel the impact of any reciprocal tariffs coming from the EU, for example, or from other countries?
I think it's going to all work out. Remember, there are no tariffs if you build your plant or you build your product, make your product in the U.S. And so a lot of people, I mean, there's going to be a transition period because they're going to be building instead of paying tariffs to some.
See, that's a huge thing. And we talked about that. And I hope he brings up the tax cut that you would get if you build here in America. And I want to say it was like 20%, 15% or something like that. So it's not that the tariffs won't apply to you. All you got to do is build it here. And then, I think you also get a tax break out of it. People aren't covering that enough. And look, we had to go 10 minutes into that video to hear that type of news from Donald Trump. Now, he's covered that before. It's not news, but this is the lack of the communication team from Trump. And look, I'm wearing the hat. I love the guy, but the team has to do better in getting this type of news out to the American people. If you build here, you're going to get tax incentives. It's going to give American workers back their freedom of actually working again rather than relying on the government assistance for help. I mean, there's so many benefits to this, and everybody's just focused on the negative, which is the market right now. You build here, you don't have the tariffs imposed, and then you're also bringing manufacturing back here, and again, the tax incentives.
Other place, but there are no tariffs. If you think there are no tariffs, all you have to do is make your product in the United States.
There you go. Not difficult.
And a lot of people are doing that. They're moving, like the auto companies. I know I spoke to 2 of the 4 or 5 that are really active, and they've already started moving their parts making things out of Mexico, out
there
of
Canada. There you go. Look at that.
Look
at that.
Do you have a sense of how long Elon Musk's mission will last and when he will depart?
Well, Elon is fantastic, and I think he's a patriot, and I think it's a shame what they're doing with his car company, and a great car. It's a great car, great product, and it tells you what a patriot he is. He's amazing. No, I mean, as long as he'd like, I like smart people, and he's a smart person. I also like him personally. When he endorsed me, that's when I really got to know him. I knew him a little bit before that, but not much, and then he endorsed me. And it was a very strong, embracing endorsement, as we all know. And I would say Elon will stay for a certain period of time, and then he's going to want to get back to his businesses full time. But he's done a fantastic job. We found hundreds of, think of it, just hundreds of, we found millions of dollars of fraud and abuse.
Absolutely right.
And they're still going, I mean, they're going strong. They found something today that's horrible. It's horrible. So what they found, well, you'll find out very soon. What they found is incredible. And I give him a lot of credit. He's got some very smart people with him.
Do you think he can finish?
And they're working very closely with our secretaries and the people that are the heads of.
Do you think he can finish?
The question is what did they find? Now, the reporters asked that, but I'm also curious too. What'd you find, Trump? Let me know. Doge.
Him to another position once his 130 days.
I think Elon's great, but he also has a company to run, or a number of companies to run. That he can do this, that he can find the time. He loves the country. That's why he does it. But
can I just say something? I don't know why I'm asking. Of course I can say something. What the fuck? I run this show. What the hell? I started drinking Coke just for Dark MAGA nights. just to feel a little bit more like Trump. You know what I mean? Just to feel the spunk, just to feel the energy. Now, somebody did leave these at my house, but I only drink them on Dark MAGA nights. And that was what was in my coffee cup. Now, this is a callback to about 2 hours ago when somebody asked that question. I shit you not. I saw it in the chat and I was like, I think I'm going to sit on that for a while. I'm going to let that simmer. 2 hours ago, somebody asked that question. I forgot who it was. Not Diet Coke. It is, it's Coke Zero. I actually like the taste of Coke Zero. It's not Diet Coke. I'm not that close to Trump. But if I had Diet Coke, I would drink it. But I don't like the way Coca-Cola, like the actual Coke drink, makes my teeth feel. It feels like it's like decaying my teeth. And I'm just not a Coke person. My mom loves Coke, but I'm not a Coke person.
We're in no rush. But there'll be a point at which time Elon's going to have to leave.
So you mentioned the auto companies.
Here's a story for you, and I don't know if my mom wants me to share this. When I was a kid, we used to go camping all the time. You guys are gonna fucking love this. It's super disgusting. I don't know if she even remembers the story. I must have been 5, 6 years old, and we had a camper. And my mom used to smoke. I don't know if she still does. Mom, don't smoke if you're smoking. And she used to use soda cans, Coca-Cola cans, as to put her ashes in. So she would have a little bit of soda in there, and she would dip it in there. I think you know where this is going. And so I'm a little kid, and I didn't ever get soda. So I'm like, the camper shell, little youngster. And I go to take a swig of nice cold Coca-Cola. Well, it wasn't nice and it wasn't cold, and there wasn't a lot of Coca-Cola in there, but there's a lot of Coke and ashes inside that when I took a sip. That's a hand the God true story. Woof. So anyways, that happened. That will traumatize you. Yeah.
Date on when he's out.
I would think a few months.
I was just a little guy. I was like little Marco. I was really young. I was like 5 or 6. Oof. Still remember to this day, like it happened yesterday.
Even when Elon leaves and goes back to being CEO, will Doge stick around in some kind of capacity?
Yeah, it'll still Doge itself. Yeah, at some point. Just so you understand, I don't want to get it wrong. I want Elon to stay as long as possible. Number one, I like him. Number two, he's doing a great job. Number three, he is a patriot. That's why he's doing this. And he's, it's very costly for him. But, so I want him to stay as long as possible. But there'll be a point where he's going to have to leave. And when he does, the secretaries will take totally over. And Doge will stay active. We have a lot of smart people. A lot of those people, I believe, are going to go into the agencies. And they'll work on it from the inside.
Let's give a shout out to HK right now. Brad, I'm listening on YouTube, but I have my screen split so I can read the comments on Rumble. Hell yeah, that's the way to do it, baby. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You mentioned auto companies that you've been speaking with. Have you spoken to any executives today?
Yeah. I don't want to say who, but I speak to a lot of the auto executives. But we have much more than autos. We have chips coming in. We have steel coming in. The steel factories. The steel factories are opening up.
Let the guy talk and just shut up for a second. You know what I mean? I mean, people are saying that about me right now, but I'm not the one in the room. This is my job, okay? It's not your job to interrupt the president, lady. Let the guy talk for a while. Jeez, well, he's giving you his freaking time.
And expanding at levels that people have not seen. Also,
can you tell us a little bit about your meeting with Laura Loomer and Mike Waltz today and how that came about?
So Laura Loomer is a very good patriot. She's a very strong person, and I saw her yesterday for a little while. She makes recommendations of things and people, and sometimes I listen to those recommendations like I do with everybody. I listen to everybody and then I make a decision. But I saw her yesterday. She was at the ceremony, and she'll always have something to say, usually very constructive.
What did she recommend?
She recommended certain people for jobs.
Adding to the administration, not
adding,
who did she
not
recommend?
firing.
Well, she'll recommend that too. But yesterday she recommended some people for jobs.
Did she have anything to do with the NSC aides who were ousted?
No, not at all.
Do you know how many, sir? Do you know how many from the NSC?
Not many.
Was it 5, a dozen?
I really don't know.
Who
And the left lost it on Laura Loomer meeting with Trump. We have Jen Psaki here. So here she is right here talking about Laura Loomer. Let's see what she has to say.
Friendship with Trump over the years, cozying up to him at Mar-a-Lago events, and even traveling with Trump on the campaign trail last year. You can see right there. Even accompanying him to a 9/11 anniversary observance in Lower Manhattan. I mean, that was quite a choice by Trump. It was so outrageous that actually fellow Republicans finally pushed Trump to distance himself from Loomer and boot her off his plane. Just take a minute to sit with this. The president and a number of his key cabinet members and his chief of staff had to listen to rantings of a 9/11 conspiracy theorist in the Oval Office. Imagine being Howard Lutnick listening to that. Remember, his financial firm, Cantor Fitzgerald, lost 658 people in the World Trade Center on 9/11, including his own brother. So what was Loomer really there for? I mean, according to the New York Times, she walked into the White House with a sheaf of papers attacking the character and loyalty of numerous NSC officials. Now, to be clear, these weren't exactly rogue liberals she was attacking, not people just secretly Democrats in the rough there. I mean, a lot of these people had actually worked for the Trump administration during the first term. But Loomer said they were disloyal to Trump because they were, quote, neocons. Now, sources tell NBC News that Waltz stood up for his employees in the meeting. But remember, he's on pretty thin ice right now in the White House. Mainly, it seems, over the fact that he had Jeffrey Goldberg's contact in his phone, less than over the group chat he initiated that included attack plans and emojis. Who knows? With that aside, in the end, it seems Waltz's national security...
It's always amazing that people take anything she says seriously. This is a lady that covered up Joe Biden's cognitive decline and lied to fucking everybody in America, don't matter who you are, and the world. This is a lady that helped cover up everything, and still does, by the way.
Security Council got Loomered. Now, that is her term, not my term. But after that meeting, as the world economy was melting down...
Folks, I mean, literally the border was being invaded, like 10,000 plus people a day. It's just a situation. It's transitory.
From Trump's tariff announcement.
Let's circle back to it later.
The president fired at least 6 officials from the National Security Council, according to the Times. Now, today, Trump said that was totally unrelated.
And very well could have been. And we're not going to believe anything you say, Jen Psaki, because you are a known liar. Known liar. So we'll see what's going on with that in the news, because, you know, the left is always trying to see if they can target something out there and poke around the bear a little bit. You have other stuff taking place, but you know what? I think I'm going to hold off on that. We've been streaming for almost 2.5 hours. And if I keep showing you stuff, we're going to have a show tomorrow morning. So I got to make sure that I still show prep. I got to make thumbnails. I got to do a bunch of stuff, even around the house. Got to prepare. But thank you for everybody for joining me for Dark MAGA. Y'all held in there. You hung in there the entire time. And I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me on this fine evening. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, for our regular scheduled programming, The Bald Brad Show. And most likely we will be live over the weekend too, folks. We'll do a little bit of streaming, maybe for an hour in the mornings over the weekend, because again, I will be going on vacation in the middle of April for an entire week. You're not going to hear from me, and I won't even know what's going on in the news. I will be off out there in the ether. I'll be so gone, so far gone. But you never know. I might surprise you while I'm on vacation. I don't know. I'll always miss you guys, and who knows? Maybe I'll pop in live off my cell phone or something like that and start waving at you. Hey, everybody, like Forrest Gump. Hey. But with that being said, thanks, guys. It was really great hanging out with you on Dark MAGA. And like I said, we'll be back here tomorrow morning. Check out Spooky Adventures on Saturday, folks. Check Spooky Adventures is back. I'm putting time into it, and I'm having a lot of fun. We'll be checking out a full-fledged ghost investigation on Saturday, so make sure you're there. We will be checking that out. It'll be very, very long, like over an hour, but we will be there. With that being said, love you guys. Take care of one another. See ya bright and early for the Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.